are my 4 tips for 2021 to keep ahead of the new PR curve. So let's dive in. One of the main things that we've learned in 2020 is that PR has secured a firmer place in the workplace, in any business, in any industry than ever before. Where PR in the past might have been left for high end and the trendy end of business, it's at last being embraced by all businesses and everyone, from retail to events, hospitality, health, public sector, and even the hub of the UK's industrial estates are seeing the benefits of building an excellent public image rather than simply marketing at people. Perhaps the biggest challenge for PRs across the board, be it in-house or agency, is keeping the momentum flowing. PR should never be a luxury only businesses can afford when you're making hay. It needs to be the beating heart of each and every industry, from sole trader to hotshot corporate. Without it, you're simply not being heard. Each business that implements an element of public relations needs to be committed to both its practice and its analysis. Where PRs in the past might have been dusted down for crisis purposes, and heck knows 2020 has been one big crisis for many from the beginning to the end, there is surely a need now to have PRs a regular part of everyday commerce. So what should businesses be doing in 2021 to keep ahead? These are my 4 tips. Number 1, get ready for flexibility and change. Yes, if you thought 2020 wasn't bad enough, wait for 2021. That's when we will see the big change in industry. And I predict that businesses, big and small, need to be ahead of the game. The key to success is got to be flexibility. So review your plans and goals for the year, and where you haven't already, build avenues into each section for disruption and times of downturn. Implement actions for times when you might have to shift productivity. For example, one company this year, whose sole product was garden furniture for public houses, survived by turning their factory into a production line for the COVID effort. It is these kind of U-turn responses that keeps the wheels of industry going. Number 2, work on your inclusion and your diversity. We don't need to be reminded how certain events in 2020 had the most extraordinary impact on human behaviour. Ideas shifted, history rewritten, re-examined, and once pillars of society were cross-questioned and the books rewritten. But perhaps what was more impactful was the public's response and the way that has been translated into now everyday life. Businesses need to stay in line with that public response. Everything now is questioned, and therefore you need to be more transparent. Where our communities once were following a theme that is now outdated, industry has had to shift to sing a different tune, thus echoing the diverse society that we reside in. Make sure your business is thinking in line. Change your voice and make it an inclusive one if it's not already. Number 3, approach new opportunities where you see them, and if you don't see them, make them. Often business leaders, particularly SMEs, where there has been a trend to wear a dozen hats in one day, tunnel vision often creeps in, and it can be difficult to see different ways of communicating. People are getting tired of the same old record and the same way of being spoken to. What creates impact is big change, where something so powerful uplifts, creates a debate, or just simply looks at something in a different light. One of my favourite campaigns this year has been the Tesco's Christmas advert, with the theme of There's No Naughty List. Despite the backlash across the press from parents who feel it is sending out the wrong message, in my book, in this case, there is no such thing as bad publicity. If there was, it wouldn't be publicity. And perhaps the point is being missed. The advert directed more at the parents and adults who have done things differently perhaps in 2020 just to cope. The advert is all about forgiving yourself. for doing all the things during the 2020 COVID crisis, like dodgy haircuts and not teaching your children algebra because you were on a Zoom meeting. It is a clever campaign. It homes in on how people have felt this year, bringing them together in this advert and giving them the message that it's okay. Number 4, keep in the now and don't pretend that the world ain't happening. Another one of my favourite campaigns has been the Yorkshire tea advert, introducing the social distancing teapot with its incredibly long spout. Not dissimilar to one of those indoor watering cans that you use for hanging baskets. The ad focuses on how people can stay safe when they're returning to the workplace and still take part in everyday office life, like having a cup of tea with your colleagues. The ad looked at how people would cope with this teapot and its enormously long spout, like getting it trapped in a lift or trying to get it into the dishwasher, and even using the spouts to hand out party ring biscuits at a meeting. Not that the teapot actually exists, which is a shame, but Yorkshire Tea ensured that their ad focused on real life and situations in a bid not only to stay safe, but to keep the tradition of having office tea alive. Yorkshire Tea was still able to maintain their strong tea theme and loyalty to their customers throughout their responses when there was a backlash on Twitter, thus maintaining and upholding their very strong profile. Well, that just about wraps it up for today. I hope you join me in the next video. Take care of yourselves, happy business, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.